Okay, so let's just dive right in. The source material you sent over, it kicks off with this incredibly bold claim.
It really does.
The 1-minute fintech dream. I mean, that's the hook. It's high octane, and frankly, it's designed to make you feel like this is almost too good to be true.
It is absolutely high energy. And when we see source material like this, which is, clearly framing a massive opportunity, our job isn't just to repeat the claims.
No, not at all.
We have to scrutinize the data underneath.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to cut through that promotional layer and really pull out the hard numbers, the actual mechanisms that are supposed to justify this kind of hype.
Right.
You, the listener, want to know what data actually backs this up and what the real strategic play is for someone who sees that the financial world is, well, changing fast.
And we're going to get into this role they call the Web3 Fintech Ambassador. But before we even touch on that, we have to talk about the scale, the sheer size and speed of what's happening.
And speed is really the key word here. The sources don't waste any time. They just drop this number on you.
It's a big one.
We are talking about a movement that has already passed 659,000 global users. I mean, let that sink in. That isn't some niche market anymore.
No, it's approaching 10% of the global population.
We're talking about a significant chunk of the planet engaging with this tech.
That 659 million figure is massive on its own, but the real bombshell is the context the source provides for it.
Yeah, the comparison.
The claim is, and this is highly provocative, that this represents a technological shift that's moving faster than the internet and smartphones combined. You just have to stop and pay attention to a claim like that.
You do. Let's really drill down on that. I mean, the internet took, what, maybe 2 decades to go from its introduction in the mid-90s to being truly global.
A long time, with huge infrastructure costs.
Right. And smartphones, even though they were faster, they still needed the carriers, the cell towers, all that centralized build-out.
Yeah.
So how can this Web3 fintech movement possibly be outpacing both of them?
I think the answer is in the architecture. It's just fundamentally different. The core technology is, inherently borderless and permissionless from day one.
Okay, so less friction.
Way less. Traditional finance, even the early internet, needed a green light from regulators, from corporations, from physical infrastructure being built country by country. Web3 fintech, because it's built on decentralized tech, it just sidesteps so many of those gatekeepers.
So once the technology exists, its adoption can just go exponential.
Precisely. It doesn't have to ask for permission in the same way. And that's what's fueling this incredible speed.
So the speed isn't just some marketing slogan. It's a direct result of the underlying tech. You can skip the hurdles that slowed everything else down.
Exactly. And if you look at where those 659 million users are, the picture gets even clearer. It's not just, tech hubs in the West.
Right.
We're seeing absolutely explosive growth in emerging economies.
Yeah.
Places where traditional banking is hard to access or where currency is unstable. For them, this isn't a toy, it's a tool. It solves real, immediate financial problems.
That's the crucial point, isn't it? This isn't just early adopters messing with new tech.
Yeah.
It's mass adoption being driven by pure utility. And when something moves that fast and establishes itself as the go-to for almost 700 million people, the window of opportunity is going to be much shorter and much more intense than anything we've seen before.
And that creates a huge structural imbalance. You have this user base that's accelerating, 659 million and climbing, but there's a massive deficit of people who can actually guide those users.
That's the expertise.
A huge one, a lack of people who can build the next layer of services and, bridge this new world back to the old one safely and effectively.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into the specific need that the source material identifies. We've got the scale, 659 million users. We've got the speed, which is driven by the architecture. So what's the role? What's the job needed to fix that imbalance?
And the source is hyper-specific about this. It's not just saying we need more developers or we need more traders.
No.
It's identifying the critical need for the Web3 fintech ambassador.
Ambassador. I mean, traditionally, that's a diplomat, a representative. In this world, a borderless financial world, what does that actually mean? What does an ambassador do?
It seems to be a kind of hybrid role. They're like the connective tissue in this decentralized system. They aren't just selling something. They're operational educators, facilitators.
Okay, so give me some examples.
So they might run educational webinars for people just entering the market. They could help users with the technical setup, wallets, security, all of that. And maybe the most critical part is acting as a liaison between these new protocols and the old world regulations that are still trying to catch up.
They're the human interface.
That's a perfect way to put it. They're the human interface for very complex, very new financial technology.
So they're bridging the tech gap, but also the trust gap. They're the ones needed to turn those 659 million users into active, confident participants. That function alone sounds incredibly valuable.
It is, because that expertise is so scarce, and the user base is growing exponentially.
Which brings us back to the money. This is where we connect that initial $1 minute dream hook to an actual, tangible, professional reward.
Exactly. Which the source claims is positioning yourself for $15K plus monthly shifts.
And that's a serious number. It's a figure that implies a high-value profession, not just some casual side gig.
But we have to ask the critical question here. Is that $15K figure actually realistic? Is it scalable, or is it just some crazy outlier?
That's the right challenge. And given how new this all is, it's not like we have a decade of salary data to look at.
No, so you have to analyze it strategically. If you accept the starting point, 659 million users who need guidance, then the demand for these bridge builders just completely outstrips the supply.
It's a supply and demand
A
problem.
massive one. If one ambassador can onboard a single high-value business that starts using this for, say, cross-border payments, the value they create for the network is huge. That can easily justify a premium salary. The $15K a month isn't arbitrary. It's a reflection of how rare and useful these skills are.
So the high pay isn't about some platform being generous. It's the market paying a premium for operational expertise that can navigate this seismic shift.
Exactly right. If this whole thing were happening slowly, the market would have time to train people and the pay would normalize. But because the adoption is happening so fast, the market has to pay for the expertise right now.
All right, so we get the scale, the speed, and the reason for the high reward. Let's turn to the how. What's the strategy, the timeline? How does someone go from just seeing this opportunity to actually capturing that value as an ambassador?
And this is where the source lays out a specific blueprint. It talks a lot about the ambassador hub strategy.
Ambassador hub.
Yeah, and in a world defined by so much chaos and speed, having a designated structured strategy is, well, it's everything.
The name hub is interesting, though. It suggests something centralized, which is a bit ironic for a decentralized technology, don't you think?
It is, and that's the key point. It implies that while the technology is borderless, the professional development needs structure. You can't just learn this stuff in an ad hoc way if you want to be a leader.
So the hub is a system for creating experts.
We can infer that, yes. It's designed to standardize the essential skills, things like compliance, security best practices, how to deliver educational content, to make sure ambassadors are effective and can scale. It's basically a factory for producing high-value human capital.
It's the proactive solution to that scarcity problem we were just talking about. Instead of waiting for experts to appear, they're building a system to create them.
And that provides an organized pathway to those $15K plus monthly shifts. Without a structure like that, the opportunity would only ever be open to the very first handful of people who figured it out on their own.
Right. And this whole strategy is aimed at a very specific deadline. This brings us to Alejandra Perez's forecast, which was cited in the materials.
It's a very explicit forecast.
It's not vague at all. She says 2026 is the year of borderless money. That's not sometime in the future. That's a 2-year operational countdown.
And we have to ask, why 2026? Why so specific? If we go back to the 659 million users, that's critical mass. But for borderless money to be the default, not just an alternative.
Something else has to happen.
Right. It implies that by 2026, either the tech will be fully scalable or, and this is more likely, there will be enough regulatory clarity in key countries for big institutions to jump in.
So 2026 is less of a tech milestone and more of a financial tipping point. It's the moment it crosses over from early adopters into the mainstream financial system.
I think that's the most compelling way to read it. It's the year that the rules and the big money finally catch up to the technology and the user demand. And for anyone listening, that 2026 date creates a very real, very urgent timeline.
So the window to get in, get trained, and deploy that ambassador hub strategy is basically between now and then.
Before it just becomes, a boring everyday reality.
The window for getting those high-value shifts is open now because the system's moving faster than the talent pool can keep up. And that talent needs to be ready before that 2026 tipping point. The whole ambassador hub strategy feels like a countdown clock.
It absolutely does. The sources are framing it as a land rush, and 2026 is the date the land gets officially surveyed.
Okay, let's pull this all together for everyone listening. We've taken apart the hype and found 4 really strong pillars of insight. First, the scale. That massive, accelerating user base, over 659 million people.
Driven by an architectural speed that just bypasses the old friction points. Second, the specific high-reward role of that Web3 fintech ambassador, whose value comes from their scarce expertise.
Which justifies the $15 K plus monthly shifts.
Right.
Third, the strategy, the ambassador hub, which is this professional structure designed to build that talent pool to meet the insane global demand.
And finally, that whole strategy is anchored to a date. Alejandro Perez's specific 2026 forecast, which signals the definitive tipping point for borderless finance. It's a really tight, data-driven case for taking action now.
And the source material ends with this really powerful statement aimed directly at you, the listener. Don't just watch the shift happen. Lead it.
Which makes sense. If the shift is moving faster than the internet, just watching means you're already behind. The big opportunities will be gone.
But leading it, that takes more than just being one of the 659 million users.
Yeah, much more.
So given everything we've talked about, especially the focus on that organized ambassador hub, here's the final thought I want to leave you with. What specific actionable training is implied by that call to lead? How do you make the jump from just being a user of borderless finance to becoming one of those essential high-value professionals who onboards the next million people? That transition from user to leader, that's the real opportunity you should be exploring right now.